All right, here's our homework for dividing fractions. We had to modify this homework a little bit in class. So just to make sure that you modified it correctly, we're going to get rid of these mixed numbers because we're only focusing on fractions divided by a whole right now. So we're going to get rid of these right here. Okay, so now that we all have fractions divided by a whole. Okay, so you don't want any whole numbers in front of your fraction. So we're going to, what I want you to do for the homework is I want you to divide using a model and using KCR. Remember, KCR stands for keep, change, reciprocal. And so, but first we want to try our model. And so we have 9/10 divided by 9. And so it's like when we had the Play-Doh yesterday. So here's my block of Play-Doh. Okay. And so what I did with our block of Play-Doh yesterday is if we have 9/10, we cut it into tenths up and down. So I make 10 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it's a little uneven, but it'll be okay. So there should be 10 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I'm shading in 9/10. I'm focusing on 9/10 of my fraction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10. So there's my 9/10. I've created 9/10. And we're dividing 9/10 by 9 people. So I've got to cut, like I cut my Play-Doh, by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know it's going to be tiny, but there is 9. Okay, so I have 9. And when all right, sorry about that, guys. So I've divided it. You should have this model drawn now. And so when we have a fraction, our fractions are part over whole. So our whole is the total number of pieces that we have here. So we have an array here. We have 10 by 9. And so you can do your array of 10 times 9, and you know there's a total of 90 pieces because you don't want to sit here and count every single one of those little squares. So we get our numerator as our part. How many is each person, if I'm divided by 9 people, how many pieces out of the whole is each person going to get? So we can circle the shaded in region on the top row, and that's going to represent what each person's going to get. And they're going to get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. So we have 9/10 here. Now we could simplify that by putting it in a slide, 9 and 90. And take 9 out, get 1 and 10. And remember down here at the bottom is our fraction. So that's equal to 1/10. Now I want to check it with keep, change, reciprocal. So keep, change, reciprocal. I keep the first, 9/10. I keep the first term. I change my division to multiplication, and I find the reciprocal. I flip it. So I have to create this whole number into a fraction first before I can flip it, and I do that by adding a 1 under it. Now the reciprocal of 9 over 1 is simply 1 over 9. Then when I multiply straight across, 9 times 1 is 9, 10 times 9 is 90, which is exactly what we got from our model, so we know we did it correctly. Okay, so you're going to do that for each one of these. You're going to create your Play-Doh. Okay, you're going to cut it into whatever the denominator tells you. So fifths here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're talking about 4/5. So shade in 1, 2, 3 4/5. So there's 4/5 of the Play-Doh. I'm dividing it by 8 people, so I need to cut this 8 times or into 8 sections. So okay, so I've cut it 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 sections there, and I've got to solve to figure out my fraction here. So remember, your denominator is your whole. So how many total pieces are in your whole? Well, you have a 5 by 8 array, so 5 by 8 is 40. How many is each person going to get? So each person is going to get the same amount that's shaded in. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4/40. I'm going to try and simplify it by putting it in the slide. Take 4 out. And I get 1/10 again. It's not always going to be 1/10, but we get 1/10 again. I'm going to check it with keep, change, reciprocal. So I'm going to keep the first term, change the division to multiplication, and find the reciprocal. So before that whole number can become a reciprocal, we have to create it into a fraction. So I have to put my magic carpet and 1 underneath it. And so I can now find the reciprocal or flip 8/1 to 1/8, and then just multiply straight across. 4 times 1 is 4, 8 times 5 is 40, which is the same thing that we got from our model. So you're going to do that for the rest of them on your own, okay? So you should be able, based off of these instructions, do it on your own, okay? And we'll check it in class tomorrow. Also, don't forget you have a quiz tomorrow over distributive properties, so make sure you study that as well. All right, see you tomorrow.